It's been 6 weeks now since a freight train carrying toxic chemicals derailed in East Palestine, Ohio.
The safety and environmental shockwaves from this accident continue to reverberate across the country, especially here in the Chicago area, with a decision looming about a controversial railroad merger.
Dane Placco has more in tonight's special report.
Then I started to think, what would happen if that happened in downtown Elgin?
David Captain is the mayor of Elgin, and he doesn't want more trains carrying toxic chemicals running through his city.
This would impact roughly 30 or 40,000 people in our downtown. They'd be within the same zone of, I guess, from the smoke and the hazards that came from that.
That concern is now magnified after last month's train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, that forced the evacuation of 5,000 people.
My previous career, I was a chemist. And so I know about vinyl chloride, and I know about some of the other chemicals that were involved.
Mayor Captain worries about a repeat of the Ohio train derailment happening here because of a proposed merger between the Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern Railroads. If approved, that merger would create freight trains about 2 miles long and increase the number of trains passing through every day. Just like the Ohio derailment, water contamination is also a concern for Elgin. This time, it would affect 500,000 people who get their water from the Fox River.
Elgin's the only community that has the rail tracks this close to the Fox River. And that created an issue for me. So most of those cars that I saw that on the derailment in Ohio would probably end up in the Fox River.
The proposed merger is also raising concerns in Itasca because of the large number of people who live along the tracks. The population of Itasca is twice as big as East Palestine, and many live on property backing up to the railroad tracks.
For years, the federal and state government have encouraged and put grant money into encouraging all of these mayors, all these communities to pursue transit-oriented development projects, basically put people living along this train line. And now you're going to run bomb cars through here?
Carrie Ann Ergo is the chairman of the coalition to stop the merger between the Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern. She's also the village administrator for Itasca.
We would end up having to evacuate our entire community. There wouldn't be one business or one resident left.
Ergo says 10,000 people live in Itasca and another 25,000 work there.
Why is this even being considered is what we've been saying all along.
Another big concern for suburbs along the rail line that runs from Bensenville to Elgin is how first responder times would be impacted. 60% of Itasca's residents live on one side of the tracks, opposite the fire station. A 2-mile train would essentially block all 4 railroad crossings in town at the same time.
To this call right here, if we had one of these houses in here, it takes about 1 minute and 20 seconds to get there.
Itasca Fire District Chief Jack Schneidwin showed us the route they would have to take to get to that same address if all the railroad crossings were blocked by a freight train, derailed or not.
And we'd have to actually go into Addison, which is where we're headed now. We're actually going to leave the town of Itasca, enter into Addison, and then we're going to get on the expressway and go all the way back north about a mile past where the incident is, and then we're going to have to weave our way back down.
A 12-minute ride instead of just over a minute.
Brain cells start to die within 4 to 6 minutes, so it's imperative that we are on the scene within 4 minutes, 4 to 6 minutes, to be able to start CPR on somebody and to be able to transport them, start care right away. And then if fire spreads, it doubles every minute.
And here in Bensenville, the police department faces the same challenge, where a 2-mile freight train could block all of the crossings at once, leading to even longer response times than Itasca.
Our police station we're at right now is on one side of the tracks. If we just have to get over just to the other side of the tracks, we're gonna have to go all the way to 83. So you're looking at a few miles out of the way, where it would take 15-20 minutes compared to 2-3 minutes.
Traffic in Bensenville is already heavy because of its proximity to O'Hare and all the trucks carrying train cargo to and from the airport. The village president believes the merger could double the number of trucks on the road. Frank DeSimone says Bensenville residents are already waiting 20 minutes for a freight train crossing. With longer trains, he says it's not a question of if an Ohio train derailment happens here, but when.
At some point, with these longer, heavier trains, tracks that are not designed for it, railroad companies that are skimping on their their employees on those trains, it's going to be a recipe for disaster.
Ohio State Senator Michael Ruley, whose district includes East Palestine, recently wrote a letter to the National Surface Transportation Board saying reviews of the merger point to a substantially elevated risk of collision. He also says he cannot, given what has happened in our community, support any action that would further undermine rail safety. Fox 32 Chicago has also learned that in 2021, there were 29 incidents in Illinois where hazardous materials were released from rail cars without any of them derailing. Nearly half the leaks were in the Chicago area.
And if we have a derailment like they did in Ohio, you're wiping out complete neighborhoods from here all the way to Elgin.
The Suburban Coalition has been working for over a year to stop this merger. With the federal board set to make its decision on Wednesday, the coalition makes this final plea.
You have the power and the ability to stop this, and you need to. You need to keep people in this country safe above profits.
Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
The coalition says the rail companies have told them they believe the merger would have minimal impact on them, given the number of Metro trains already using those tracks. We'll have more tomorrow on whether the Surface Transportation Board approves the CPKC rail merger.